comes the story of Mr. Mudashiru Obasa from Sahara Report in Nigeria. Says that Lagos State Speaker must go, jailing now by Baba Aye, forcing the likes of Mr. Mudashiru Obasa out of power with mass mobilization and seeing him off to jail would send home a clear message to the thieving bosses that enough is enough. By Baba Aye, May 24, 2020. The corrupt practices of Mr. Mudashiru Obasa, Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, LSHA, have been brought to light in a series of articles over the last few weeks. Sahara Reporter reveals several incidents of the chief lawmaker plunder of public funds and attempt to cover up the lodging these illegitimately acquired monies under false names. Based on the expose, Concerned Nigeria and NGO has written to the EFCC, Economic and Financial Crime Commission, to have Mr. Obasa arrested and prosecuted him, but thus further, nothing has been done by EFCC or any government official agency charged with ensuring proper conduct of public official or EFCC and ICPC. Some of the identified instances of Mr. Obasa light finger are collection of 45.8 million naira for a children Christmas party last year, which never held. The fake children Christmas party money was not enough for Mr. Speaker end of year flanger. So for the strip along with 18 with lawmakers around the same time, they allocated 80 million naira as extra code. Similarly, he collected the sum of 258 million naira supposedly for printing invitation card for the inauguration of the Lagos State lawmaker, as if it were not criminal enough for someone to claim such an amount was used for such purpose. An added fact is that he approved the sum 3 months after the event. The event, thus obviously, that was only meant to cover some tracks of thievery or simply provide money for the boys. Obviously, for Mr. Obasa, since they himself, his party, and of course their jagaban of a leader, Mr. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, but former governor of the state, are in control, state money is there for picking, including personal fahaji. So he had absolutely no problem with drawing 17 million naira from the state coffers to refurbish his personal residence. And by the way, he similarly just dipped his hand into the Lagos State government kitty for another 53 million naira to cover the exposes and expenses of his personal trip to the United States with his lover. More importantly, there are grounds to conclude that these not insignificant amounts represent just a tip of the iceberg of corruption traceable to Mr. Obasa. Sahara Reporter also discovered that there are at least 64 bank accounts operated by the thieving speaker of a thieving house of assembly crooks. All these accounts, whilst using different names, are linked to the same BVN 23229663231. I repeat, 229663231. That is the number, BVN number. And this BVN is that of Mr. Mudashiru Obasa. These accounts scattered across Polaris Bank, Zenith Bank, Access Bank, Eco Bank, Stanbic IBTC Bank, Guaranty Trust Bank, United Bank for Africa, First City Monument Bank, and Royal Bank were registered with several names, including Ajayi Mudashiru Obasa, Obasa Abdulrahman Gbadunola, and Gabriel Adedoyin Savage, and some were for companies which have been serving the purpose of slushing monies from Lagos State Treasury, such as Adesalv International Ventures, Fabric Splash Ventures, Swift Hill International Ventures, and Quick Solution International. One of these reasons for putting BVN system in place, as we were told at the time 2014, was to enable the banking system establish a watch list of bank customers identified by their BVN who have been involved in fraudulent activities. Thank you, Nigerian government, for introducing the BVN so that you can track all these thieves. Thank you all for the CBN for introducing this BVN. How could so many lending banks give impression that they were not aware of the fraudulent inks of Obasa Gates when it was being constructed with a whopping number of 64 bank accounts? And indeed, how many of those politicians already charged or convicted for corruption have the bank blown the whistle on? None. Rather, BVN is used to track poor working class people who have been in debt in one bank, to stop them having access to money from the banking system through other banks. It is like a spider web set to catch the insects they consider poor to be, but not the barrel of political elephant in the room. The case of Mr. Obasa is reflective of widespread corruption across all tiers of government, amongst but not limited in the legislative thieves' arms of government. Despite being probably the highest paid and most underperforming legislative in the world, in the midst of one of the least paid working class globally, members of the National Assembly have become notorious for corruption. They are really notorious. Only God, they are overusing their power, abuse of power. And even when any legislator at national or state level is convicted of corruption, he or she still have full right to maintain his or her seat in parliament and keep collecting millions of naira as monthly take-home paycheck. This supposedly because being an ex-convict only precludes one from contesting election in parliament and not from being a member of that parliament. It's only the Code of Conduct Bureau which has the power to remove such a lawmaker, but it has never exercised this power. The EFCC, along with its sister ICPC, is another kettle of the same kind of paddy fish, whilst it has a knack for posturing as the nemesis of corrupt official. It has actually been used mainly to wound those persons among the coterie of vagabonds in power who refused to cooperate with vagabonds in chief at different levels. It is not difficult, for example, to see that behind the governance of Obasa, brazen groggery, lies the pillar of bundling of the party, Tinubu. The system of high-rolling corruption is not unlike the more modern checkpoint collection of the police. You don't long last on the checkpoint if you don't deliver to the DPO or a bank manager, as Fela rightly notes, who also deliver to the area commander, and so on and so forth, up to the managing director. Now, this is what is happening in Nigeria. You have to keep delivering. Mudashiru is delivering to ex-governor, which is Mr. Tinubu Bola Ahmed. When are these stupid people are going to leave the government? When are they going to leave the government? I'm 40 plus. Still, these people, when I was born, they said Nigeria go better, Nigeria go better. Still, Obasa that knew that he knew where he was coming from, yet is doing all these things. Tinubu has been ruling Lagos State for a long time, yet he doesn't want to leave the people that he put in the post. Otherwise, if they are not delivering anything to him, he's going to remove them. Why these people are like this in Nigeria? Corruption in high places is written into the DNA of capitalism. It is not only the political sphere, and it is not only in Nigeria. The MP expenses scandal in Britain readily comes to mind as just one example. Capitalism itself is based on theft of the unpaid labor of poor workers and from the heart. Our collective home with the bosses, pilot and despoil in search of ever-expanding wealth, corruption as a particular form of such theft, which is illegitimate and often illegal, even by the hypocritically formulated standard of the bosses themselves, is a major lubricant of sealing deals in organized private sector and for politicians' ostentatious lifestyle in the public sector. We must fight against corruption, showing its various connection to the worsening living condition of the poor masses and to the capitalist system, which breeds it and which it helps reinforce. Corruption has disastrous impact on the life of the poor working masses. Trillions of naira that could have been used to provide quality health care for all, free education, qualitative cheap housing have been stolen by those in power over the years, forcing the likes of Mr. Mudashiru Obasa out of power with mass mobilization, and seeing him off to jail would send home a clear message to the thieves' bosses that enough is enough. Trade unions, civil society, organizations, and communities, particularly in Lagos, must lend their voices to the call of Speaker to remove immediately tried and jailed not less is acceptable. Baba Aye is a trade unionist and co-convener of Coalition for Revolution Corps. My dear people, when are we going to learn? We are crying that things are not smooth in Nigeria. See the huge amount of money that has been stolen by these big thieves. Once they steal this money, they don't have any conscience going to abroad with ladies, Dubai, America. For what reason? For what purpose? Having 64 bank accounts. Is it not a shame on them? This is ridiculous. It's not acceptable. We want the EFCC and ICPC to take action and stop arresting the Yahoo boys again. I'm not a Yahoo boy, but these government, they are the Yahoo boys of Nigeria, spoiling the life of the youth. Nobody is willing to do Yahoo except if you are willing to do anything. Let us raise up our voice, the youth. We don't want all these stupid people to be on the post again. Enough is enough. This message will be sent across to every corrupt leaders in Nigeria, every corner of Nigeria. Thank you very much. Let me know what you guys think of what I've spoken. It is an heartbroken that these things is really happening. See the huge amount of money, 258 million naira just for invitation, 70 million naira for Tinubu, 54 million naira for traveling to abroad. This money for renovating his house. Come on. This is a public fund. They can use it to do many things. Free education, good health care, good road, good light. Why are we suffering ourselves in Nigeria? I'm in diaspora. I shouldn't be in diaspora. I should be in Nigeria enjoying the fruit of my father's labor. It's not good. Let us call a spade a spade. Youth, we want your voice. Send Mr. Mudashiru Obasa to jail and send a message across to everybody that enough is enough. We, the youth, have spoken. We, the public, have spoken. Thank you very much.